Mahama.
Motorists are also receiving more deaths. There is enough evidence to prove that the death toll in our various facilities are increasing.
These are our demands. Within 14 working days.
That if the NPP was in power today, we'll focus heavily on augmenting and we'll continue with our advocacy to government to withdraw this levy and adopt.
Yes, someone for you now, Kwaba, if you emra, b0dies, Francia, and summer a coso, oh my ganamu, Yadinina, a bread I have for after set nurses, a cost trike, you know, a wana among for a woo, oh my ganamu, a got you in Sembebre, about quick one, Yeberaho, and what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and an abine, Omode taxi be buyer. Nanka your friend dumsor levy abayon komodia bebre ewo my Ghana mu amasisia me no kase His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ene na ban a suspend sa tax na enka womode ba no enkomodia bebre na koso ewo my Ghana mu a NPP amanyoko no nso edi ho nkomo weni nsɛmfoforo bi ni aboaboa no a yede ni nyina ebre ahefo na afre no yaba be di ho nkomo baransa na no minority no ekasaye Kwajo upon Kroma or in some bring a two-da. Now, Commander, me pese acquire this part.
Okay.
And say, I catch your attention.
Of course.
Now, your bar meaning say, Uber BB, same the quick one. Ian Chewin, my cover. Ocean somewhere cheaper.
Number two, government should quicken the efforts to bring efficiency into the operations of GRIDCO and ECG to reduce transmission, distribution, and other technical losses. You have followed the arguments that part of the problem is the losses occasioned during transmission and distribution and collection. If government really means well, that is one of the areas to focus attention and front load. Number three, we're asking government to pursue the strategy that we proposed in 2024 to go heavily into renewable energy, as advertised, for example, in our manifesto, to reduce the need for fuel importation and its consequent negative impacts on the economy. And you will recall that prior to 2024, in the elections, we signaled that if the NPP was in power today, we'll focus heavily on augmenting with solar power, so that this whole thing of buying HFO and fuel for the power plants will be reduced. And you don't have to then come and impose these levies on Ghanaians at 8% to pay for the inefficiencies in the sector, contrary to the promise that you made. In closing, colleagues, it's already clear that the government intends to go ahead with the implementation of this draconian levy, and they will not listen to anybody's plea, anybody's reasoning, or anybody's alternative ideas. We as a minority group representing over 10 million Ghanaians, and sometimes people say, oh, they are just 88. In our 88 constituencies, you will find over 10 million Ghanaians. We want to advertise that we'll be embarking on the following. Number one, we'll continuously engage the people of Ghana, civil society groups, driver unions, and the media to showcase the true impact of this draconian and negative levy that the government is imposing on us. Number two, we'll continue to stand with the groups of honest Ghanaians, the driver unions, the Chamber of Oil marketers, who are opposing the levy or asking government to pull back and to engage better, and not to go by this midnight introduction into parliament and using their numbers to push it through. We know the government has a lot of goodwill, but this is not the way to do things. Number three, we'll continue to stand in solidarity with the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies in their position that this downstream sector is already heavily overtaxed. And now if you add this new levy, effectively about 26% of what you are paying at the pump is all taxes. And we'll continue with our advocacy to government to withdraw this levy and adopt less painful and more pragmatic options, some of which we have suggested in this afternoon's press briefing.
Okay, Commander.
Yeah, Director.
NPP, any minority, no?
Yeah.
And say, Kwajo upon Kroma Kasa.
Yeah.
But then, dumsor levy no e buy no. And who say minority ni NPP for no, woman madwuma pa.
Yeah,
because where tax aba, no say, one tro madwe.
Yeah.
One His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. A quay fasu ebumai.
Of course.
But then 2024, woman to survive it. Ghana former almost 38%.
Of course.
A quick one, young way.
Well, the right way, I mean, I was see. I'm in charge for now. Yes, and I knew come ye, not in the year. The right, I no crack, yen, I did to say, in terms of amamuo se bibi start say e koso ana aban e implement bibi a opposition party na dwuma pa ne se oba kire situation nim a kire Ghana for no aka kire Ghana for say the aban ni pese wo ye ne yendie yemfoa so
enti na me bisa se me problem ni se se sie no me no na emfa se ye prese yemfa o man ni hye yensa na me na me wa ban mu mantima ntoto niema ma messe niema up na kind of what to abetia makote na chi na wo beteki over within 5 months me say chema dwesa sadie we no e wo san ka wo ye ni say wo san ka wo ye ni say enti sadie na no na nka minimu a ada na nka ma nya mfa nyi media magana fo anto ame so
Roger, say hona asem ni nyina kwa kodina na etre say NPP fo omamamuo no eye theory eye bukum omu ready a na omadi baba
okay
to obetra say ya obeka ne dedede fa practical ne man say onkofo na onkoye adwuma
ontimi
director ene levy a ye ka ho asemi we all agree ye nyina ye gitum and the beyond the betra ha me ka say menya ho single person including kwadwo pon kroma okasa ye ya okasa e kana eda energy ministry ho no enye no kre omoba omo nyina gitum say e kana de wo ho nto no nkomodie mu no o say sika na ye gige no mampani say ye gige dia kodua but energy minister say ye gige dia kotofuo na tre say they agree say e kada ho na aha na asem no wo no tisie ya na mo power in the last 8 years na mo bibia wo man nu shamonsa munim say betimi e di solar energy atiye kaso ye betimi e use solar energy more than fuel na ye to e dey use electricity no na mo manya ne sa matwan ya me ko free fuel aboka e ma e kakase
e ka no so mo na mo boy
abeto energy sector nti mo me ya boka e wo energy sector mo wie ya mo say e ka ne de mo me ya bo awie na mo aban ofra na wa ba no mo kire ne nyansa say se de be ya sika na opese ye twadi na yeri te e ka ne free ho no onya ye no na ho na mum next time na aban ne pese in terms of energy sector issues no onyusu solar
but then solar no commander yemfa bibian to nchen
of course
memfa ne se ade bi a etimi bank e bebo ye ye fire o no nso no na ensam na o ka no ye ye wo no ne apeke
right now say solar energy no one problem we die political parties ni nyina obi a manifesto o de chem say omo pese ye use solar energy more but asem ni say solar energy na ye kase pese use more no omo di omo no beka omo twere o manifesto no but aden na one implement director solar energy nkomo ayedi ye din ke di hu nkomo bebre from 2023 at the time NPP ko presidential primaries honorable Kennedy di hu nkomo dada ene no achi ye tisi election ankasa mu no both political parties were bra o launch o manifesto no obi aka solar energy ho asem but problem ni nyina ne say e no kre aban ne ya aban mo no e nyina ye gitum so ye mo no de nemmom o sha se bro so ntama no ani ekoko enti ya ka se opposition for no they had all time and they wo wiase bia say come de implement solar energy o manye no eno nso interest the idea is bad no idea ni good
very good
and it's up to energy minister say the right solar energy betimi ayusu na ye use ni here because ya wa ha ene koba say Palugu dam ananka ye no in the plan na ye draw ye say be Palugu dam no nanka dam nankasa ne soro no they be generate a lot of solar energy because baby aye kon so northern part of Ghana aduana no ode wo ho enti say ye tumi I implement ni ya right ye nyina ye said ye sabi enkane ahon semresitie ye ntimi ntua and me kura de masem kese ne say in terms of your street light ene ye highway so said ya esum esi wo ye highway so ne ye street so no right the best in say and yemfa solar no empower your street no so na just say energy na ye use from light ne de no ECG any other sectors no yemfa enumom empower street light yemfa enumom enso highway light na enumom ebe serve enyumanuma ne afiafie right na aban offices any ade no ya provide with solar energy na street no so I solar energy a very good idea but assemble ne say enipa na all can on carbon but the question is in 8 years when to advise the government to say aban no emphasize the adwuma o ma hwa me aboka e Canada ho ene wo say yenko ho no ye jitu ye beko but say e ka no That is the issue on board.
But then, across His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and in a buying.
Yeah.
The second time he said, why focus pa? And I'm on so kase president, I listening president because some dumsor levies to be a pay.
Yeah.
And again for starting say one would do komo.
Yeah.
And my GPRTU phone yinano. Ebe di komo say one more cost strike. But then yate say abano makasa.
Yeah.
Ama abano atwa sensen kakra.
Of course.
One mo hwehwe niamam. Nti ehon ye bebo mabaso.
Yeah.
Say one manya so din.
Right, very good. On that, side issue, no.
Yeah.
Right, no correct. Ministry of Transport, is a GPRTU.
Yeah.
Any other stakeholders here, in oil marketing, different right, the conclusion was, Abine dia two when the minister natural say. At the time, as I say, my child didn't have course in Seno. By the time I didn't say, per price said that I to fool, and yet you have a company. It's a fool near 12. Minister Assurance or they my GPRTU. Any oil marketers, and any say, timer at the end of the chassis and Casano. Yen top full no liter no more than 12 letter on meaning say you name a beer, a bino, said the Ocasa or your listening president, but you know one who said. Concerns are kind of for reason so a twasum a compare previous government no na fuel is saying yen to say previous government no so for bonus one na enye no 18 year to abetia na okoye it is oba you need to better it yen hwe say bia aban no you are putting a proper measure in place here for no yet it say bia e be say to reduce kakra na we na ba be shim say de be ya price na no a enkoturu biem na amanfo ay very okay. Yanko say after say nurses omo cost strike no yanya ntia say enipa wuwu e hospitals ahodo no commander and say ayare hosem of course
yes nipa wu pa ama ai mochema fo no kwa no wo say da bi say ya hwe omo so be cost strike because nipa na ewu no doso abusua yentie wemra ye ba commander bewrem.
Motorists are also receiving more deaths as compared to the usual normal working hours, in which in the event that when the nurses were working, we had normal, the people are dying though, but this time around, I think that the death toll is increasing every day.
Do we have any numbers to back it? Where you are, what are the figures that we are getting?
No, I can't give you specifics. But what I know is that, for instance, we know averagely in Kolebu you can have about 50. This time right has risen above that. Other facilities, Komfanochi and all that, we are hearing it. We know, but I can't give you specifics. There are too many to, unless I'm able to collect data in all motorists. But as we speak, there is enough evidence to prove that the death toll in our various facilities are increasing.
Okay, Commander.
Yeah, Roger.
And say, Adiana, I are hosem.
Of course.
And say, Drenny Brens so.
Yeah.
There was necessary one more day.
Yeah.
Now, the necessary and you may be also buying to provide the man necessary.
Yeah.
Woman no munkasa. Now, woman konyasa. Any pe would do.
Roger, and okay. Now, said your kind, and son of Mesha Siakasa, a joke. Good. Because they say situation won't be a general. Say a cassa yene. Nurses and midwives no ebe twa e yewu ani nipa be good because doctors no eye adwuma but nurses no we e no maboa wo the right any general said Ghana registered nurses and midwives omo association decide say omo be cost strike asase ni nim say ya agro right omo reason general say in April 2024 abani jitum in a collective agreement say omo salaries omo allowances any a lot of incentive packages and was abiding my woman. Nay, you want to nay, or the Bema woman. As it I almost full is Kenya. Do the car crana and Busaba could say, ah, Namusu Mujifu as Sicano. So, wouldn't near Unica was a shed. And yes, you're quite full. Yeah, Giniska, or Giniska. Right, a symptom. Many another senior nurse, Edim Como or Confanoche, or say. Any just situation it is about omudimingum. Or say or ward or port or was striking the on Yajuma. Him for a work canna or turn who be a inca. But still, because of so mumpany for say, and one Yajumano. Also, or Shano catch a pin for now, what can I say? Yen Timisho, to Mobusia for some found to come in some found. But in the whole situation, as 7 said writer, or my Jumano Muyero. we as citizens yes say
oh
they deserve better
yeah
adwuma na edin
good
the right man penny no edi nkomo about 24-hour economy meanwhile these are sectors here omo the 24-hour economy no omo ye dada and man penny ne kan say with the 24-hour economy no ye be ma workers a lot of incentive packages
good
and said this time necessary we agree right omo ye nipa e wo mo say this agreement was made before some company ba enya company na no omo ya agreement nti e ho na ye be sere omo say omo so mfa omo ni to say at least this agreement na eba ho ansa na company eba
en na akwase ja obi na obi ejai a wo akwakofa ukofa ya pe oba ne se toka amami wo se na ka de me toka ama se wo se hwe abrante na me ne te no o promise me se obeto ka amami ntimi no obetana de atoka amami
untimi ka ye jai and right at the situation now ade na kwa kodu no say ye jai mane kunko ho say ya enye yie because examination here no National Labour Commission for the to just say nurses and midwives no omo ni case because enye aban we ne no omo ya agreement enti omo nya abotre na aban ne omo ni nkomo e ma Ghana National Labour Commission e court injunction e dey ato omo so the court injunction has been secured court injunction no but omo say omo nti court injunction and still they will embark on the striker right away a striker obi ani ho nurses ni nobody's working nti we dey a friend ye best say after meeting on many health minister Asia yo meeting here no right nkomo bi o ma di bia no they should also consider say at the end of the day omo so ye Ghana for e bia ene yo bi se ni ade be che no na nurse ni foforo e bia one region na obi se ni another region wa ya record so be ko no o colleagues ni ho so o famu hwere ne nkwa e be ha adwon e right ye ka bia ma omo de sere omo so omo tie na supam na ja omo ne aban ni nkomo ma ni si omo ko back to adwuma na omo ko ye adwuma very bad
commander ena kan sem ni nyina no o se nurses e be sere mo ko back na mo ko ye adwuma na fibia enye kama yadi si baren yankoye Abbas Nuruddin NDC Asante Regional Communication Team member anase on the director bom ewo Asante Region opening kese pa na Ghana phone shada ntene ma biase Abbas Nuruddin oye NDC ni no wanya botra biebie nsimu acheche ne ma bi mu abiebie ne ma bie ni so ama Ghana for di hon komoti me be se nya botre na ye tie ne nsem no quick one yenkotie
na mamemra wo so na nsane ne na moaban de bill bi koy under certificate of emergency ebo ayese ye tofu obia per liter ana akoto ba ko bia no yemfa 1 cedi ento so na sanse eke wo no emene ye ni bebere akasa tie se na mo ba be de na nsan ya na electricity 14%, water 4%, na mo de to so na say who talk 1 gallon na je utua 460 pesos 2 gallons 9 cedis uto 4 gallons 18 cedis uto 8 gallons 36 cedis uto de ekwa na che se ebo no ekoso pa enkomo eminim se nkofo didi bi eto sen
yo bra kwa me mesa da wase bio na sane o kan ne sa na tie na anu ada no man sana hene uru ato forsen e ko mra hye bedwam no de ko tu ja se ye nsesen no ho abahia se ye de tu obi beba e betimi aboa yen na e ka emene ye nyina mahoden ensem ho no yetimi akon na ko fa kwa me ma menka se mi nkyɛw na wo hwe o mampanyin Mahama na mamu awubuo na adeɛ baako a ɛyɛ the major risk to your economy no a ebetimi abɛsɛe ɛyɛ ɛne papa yewura ato forsen ɛne yɛ papa jo Mahama ayɛ ɛwɔ yesi kasɛm wɔyɛ energy sector there ɛne dumsor na yɛtena ase yɛ nseseyɛ no yɛhunu sɛ yɛn tu dumsor ne ho anamɔn sesie yɛ anhwɛ anko ka no a NPP na Dr. Baumia Jato ho no ma anya ho hwe no a dumsor be free awura ama nyuma ka yɛ dai agugu ama ɔmanfo afa ho yehia ma na sɛ dumsor pesa be free awura ama ya se ko pɛ mu a yɛbɛbɔ ka kyɛn a car ye boni sisi eti ya papa John Mahama o he ha na se o di buku ya dai e boni yam na wo fa se 19 kuro no omia cause wa mia na ye kese a wo fa se ne 9 ye be dai ye betwa na ne tie nie even though yewura at 2,000 they say another buy the 1 cedi at 2 liter bia so no am I yen 2 petrol bo se ne esi to ne sesi ani bra kwa na o te de America na se
chirem we dey chirem
they say I want say your top petrol I think that's who use oil standard no your top petrol I think 12 cedis any kakra this the no petrol now 12 cedis even though you're the 1 cedi the liter bia ho no then you see turn no in the next pricing window no yen unim de ntia because the papa John Mahama ni ebra to force amanage ye cedi ni ye ama cedi na dey enya ahoden it is expected in the next pricing window no you better have petrol so by 1 cedi 30 pesos it is said you see ton liters say here 12 cedis no e was say sa by 11 cedis and a katra and as and it is one air no ye papa srega say o mo man mu 1 cedi na o fan kokra na do ya dey
baba omo be chirem se sa aka no eye tete ka o na edidi mu a
enya no kra bedru ho machiremu be machiremu enti 1 cedi no say so ama send is top per liter say I no a eye 2 cedis long 48 and it is eba abinde eye the ebe it is said you see no you see petrol see no sa na ebe to no enti emfa hunyehi ana sa emfa yibia maximum so that is the first point. The second point is that under NPP petrol I said Dr. Baumiane na nado o manya o musika samo nhihye yeyi no petrol cost through kodru ya 2022 na this 20 cedis and a petrol 70 the year Mahama when year man le abedru 12 cedis and na the tax 1 cedi kra be kan wona ejina 12 cedi bono a said the year top petrol no 4 cedis less than 16 cedis no a MPP for the year dey ejaye no so even with the introduction of this 1 cedi per liter no still said the year top petrol no 4 10 year said the year ton wo Dr. Baumiane na nado enti omo asem omo
edi no say ye konya situation bi whereby world market no crude oil ne bo ekoso a still na Ghana for beto na boarding so
oh the men pese ye beka that asem because you know ye nim insumare mu asem and am penifon so say ni etwem ne ye bon kontinent ko hwenya de eba what you say ni etwem de ye wan ko ga etwem ni eba de ye won ko ni anwoden de a etaba beto yen what you say let's not talk about hypothetical situations now. Yenka actual situations is here. Now, say you do those maybe a funny man beba, near require a better to a better day. Now, MPP for one saying, no, Cassane, the American a young mama. Because a year or moonty kind of for a bit here that a true way. Again, of a crime makers are. Mahama by
oh kasa now the credit chama won to me munti and
that is a good one. That is on the lighter note. The first time I Ghana encountered dumsor in 1983 mid 83 mo babreno na yewura nkoma ye akosombo no na Ghana population is about 83 no na your population na nyini ama akosombo na nso ye
to help with the conversation no ebra yenya independence no na ye under 5 million population yeah a chire kwa ebebu akonta ye ba 59 60s no and ye be 5.7 million population yeah
no kwa bra kwa me the history ne de hotin to man komo ne ye de Edi Yewura Rollins abreso dumsor by Yewura Kofo abreso dumsor by Yewura Mahama abreso dumsor by. But baby anu dumsor ne ba na akoye se be de kura tu na wasesa anwea de agu ani na ani awo wesen ofi say. Ukwa ball kakra na obi di ne na ko wo bre ani pe na wo na oda ho. Edi Yewura Mahama no ba ye no se dumsor no a atna ye to ufuo bebre no. Betu dumsor na se kra. Na de na na ema dumsor eba. Ne di nkan na ye bibi afre no generational capacity. There's a need that Kosombo Kunkwa, so by maybe drew yana is a Yamun Satrayentino. Now Kosombo to me my the needed energy. Now was I diversify your energy generation mix no near the thermal plants any a year day ever come. A do I don't rock for free abamuno. Now your energy I generate your generational capacity a little over 2,000 megawatts. Now and by your Mahama eba ye in fear only your ramels and fear and watch no. Or more double generation mix no man could do 5,000 megawatts. Emma Ura Kufuad and the Dr. Napo by a crown almost don't sono ya stop cram and up broso. I'm as I say you will be cry you win your fanya day, your fanya. Over crime and Buana, one test of Bocasa.
Annie.
Aha. Not just say generational capacity and I did do so by the Ramahama a day as over. Near Tossum Yenua. Na ema dumsor ba se na nyame de fanwo ye dey adomi na fanwo no na enframaja ye gas eta ho na gas no esan say na ye ni hu akade a ye betimi adane dane mu na ye timi e de ama ye fidie na ama ye nyina ahoden no na ye rely on the West African power pool and I say you rely on Nigeria company be a friend and gas no more aye dey ama ye gas. And I took the mills and Mahama say, and from a jay Yankupa, you were about 3 billion standard cubic feet of gas. Yeah, they drew baby, the Korean ammunition good, focus of flaring. In the other engineer, a Chiabo gas pipeline, and I use Mills, Mahama, say a Chiabo gas pipeline. A Chiabo gas pipeline in Kwamoya, and almost say Ghana, Sika, $300 million a year, and that's what the other day, Akoto gas. Near Chapua na air cripple a energy sector ne pa black army. A BB at the friend of legacy debt. And a month for generation number what they may intimate the day. Intimate Yahu can you Ramahama tickets ya and that's what I say yes. A car a madum so banonina say it here. Intimate the BB by a friend of Esla. Now Esla no Sikano mede Tuana medebano. Me yes no ya geno enfie numu a ebetimi atia legacy debt ni nyina ma energy sector na ka bia anya dai emeta ho ena yewura Mahama de esla saye de e ba o de ba NPP for to reach high obo say you nuisance tax na esla no na bibi wo mo aye friend sunset clause say ya geno ekodu ba bia wo say ye dai ye jai e di esla no sika na ebe mu anka wo say kotua eye your legacy debt no NPP ba ye no na omode esla no akosi awawa ye enfie dunum age wo bosia bra kwa me wati ase esla no a enenka wo say ka no a amene ye no ye tia no NPP ba ye no kanu foriata ne Dr. Baumia e sika no akoje about 15 billion and almost say free na ekopim 2035 sika be mu bi dey efa. Eti Esla no anka ye Mahama de ba ye odi two dums ase no Dr. Baumia kanu foriata ene na do ye dey e diverti sika no e de koje bibi fofo ye dey yenim eno na ma e kanu sa ku wa even under NPP dumsor ye dey e bai e ma e ko energy minister ho a wo so ye ayenye ye timetable and ananado uhu say e ye to ka fe de asogli omu dumomo e gas pipeline e na ka power no ni ade nyina say se e kanu e da ho no say ye tu ho na mo se da chi ye betia omu nyina e dundumomo bra kwa mi so dundumomo fidia esun kabisi ene be kwa hye o man so edie papa John Dramani Mahama mpese sa abesi ntino ene ne wo de sa to ya ba ene ka ye de eye IPP nko a eye $3.1 billion bra kwa me enye cedi so $3.1 billion ena ye say here 1.8 billion ene dia to crude e dia power ye thermal plant say entimi anye saade we ya in the next 1 month or 2 no esum kabisi na ebe free o man yawra esum ba ya papa jo Mahama CD a one manage ama from ni nyina no e be say sa de ma ni nyina e na wo sre Ghana for say CD no ana ho oden abatro ne nyame adom e na ama petrol 1 liter free 16 cedis about 12 cedis e be kwa 11 cedis na every 12 akọ 11 no 1 cedi na da ho no momfa fem no kakra na eka NPP burugu ho mantia eslexika no a omudi ye no yemfa nku independent power producers no no man kwaso no enyama hodi ni bi baya da kwa me ni se eyebone na NPP fo no mo ka bi no na eye mareho because omo sabi atankan dia omo yegu ho no eno na de papa jo Mahama eye de ebe pra enti se ye wo bi aye de tuo we ya ebe yi ho ntansa bebo no a eye Dr. Baumia ene ne NPP because esla no so man ko collateralize amfa ankoje bosia say 15 years ka bi ebeda mu bia no momfa enei enka energy sector bia di legacy debt bia anya dey edi ho edi yesra Ghana fo ye say sabi be man na no dry anya dey enyu ena adura enyu no so na ye dey ikum eye yade ye papa do Mahama nkanya ne pe say nye sabi ya gene pe ne sen ko huda so ye papa John Dramani Mahama nya ne pe say sabi so sabi anya ado ode eto eba beto Ghana for so brewe mu but abanista say yanye saade no a dumsor no edeba no yentimi ensa no ota kwa me wa refe na ye wo hoyi tonya na sogli omudum omo thermal plant car power for so omo bedum obi adundum the plant a na nne ye se general standard the power you fear ka ebebo no
ba ayi many Dennis Miracle Abwaji Edin Commando pay and sana who cross over sweet was it a care that one no any sika moji and some moji jekra 1 year manya 7 billion Ghana cedis and to who take it way cost 90
Sunny all can say nye Afriba penny no and a kai that one oka energy sector at the whole na all the petrol ye beto kan ho a e ko be 100 billion it would as afibia ye make 7 billion wa e ka be to be and nei e to we ya e be no ama wo mo anu a egina mo amode ma NPP aban a wantia e no kotra ko wi ne beko na fontrani e be ti hu fifiri onu de ni sa miracle saboaje wo ka se e ka no e da wo ye nti ye de ye kwa ye ntimi entia ni nyina no ye ne de na onu no ban no senka wo de esla ni tia ya enka panyin Mahama ebe ba beswa ta eye omomumu yoyi enti yesre Ghana for ye NPP for bon ne awudi omudi adi oman no ane e ka ho asem no ebi hu sunsanso na eye dey ebe yi betete esla enfie nwotwe ma for anyina ahoden ne ye no ama mo nya dey muntia ene ne nyina anu abeboa Yewura Mahama abreso Yewura Mahama o se be man since man sanu aham ene wi asenso di jawa ne di aso awo even though boni NPP for ye nyina no ono na breso na anu abeboa no ba wonka wonfa o ma na adwene nko eye boni NPP de adi o man ne to bibiri o to betu anamo se ne be ya Ghana yen sanko ahungidi e mu bio edia wo say yakra no sabi so sabi anya be sympathize with your papa John Mahama na ye tanachi na utimi clear the mess of the NDP and NPP ba NPP ni dia obeba da tax in once and be was Ghana ko nyina esini hu because omo na de yakosa or how you mo na ama sa amane yi aye dey aba o de omo pene say Yewura Mahama enye eka no omo de to ho ne hwe na du so asa aye dey aba ne abeka say oh yanka sa Mahama ba o de du so be dey beba na ebo tax we e be omo pese omo pe classmate e ama yi levy enti omo so yo Yewura Mahama e di levy aye dey aba bra kwa me tax we ni e levy en se wo bi plemu eno na mampani ka say yes so okete ni na ye tax there but it didn't say e won yama bebre mu isan say yes so okete kwani oketre se wodini mu ana no kire say o mo se wo brabom ni levy any energy sector levy no yes ni nyina mo se wodini mu bo mo se wa brabom be di entia la kwa mi yi levy amene ni etia no ni enim de ye de kana ankasa kra pote kwa no enim de ye de ye a ubusa abai dada no say yi levy omo jeje ye ne de no mo de ye ya o huntimi nkyere because na koda consolidated fund mu a the abai ne pen o de ye asika we de eye ring fenced bra kwa me utie ye twa ho ban se sika we consolidated fund enya no mo ne koda yes ring fence the energy sector levy. So while this levy has a purpose, we didn't know the abina or what you not levy ye levy na in percentage terms. Rakwami ye levy so who could ye 10,000 you bet you 1%. Who could ye 100,000 you bet you 1%. 1%. Rakwami. Who could one transaction 100,000 now buy wage 10 million or no one do or no one pam osako sendema obia no wasaji. So what mean for a 2-way and your day end to 2 levy. Now I am the woman say a 2 no bar air banner kunano am I 2 bedroom because it is being hedged against the anticipated reduction of air the air banner. It is any sit top to see 12 cities. You better access so cry about 30% simple. It's your man yama and your day and control. It's the Ghana for you John Dramani Mahama and DC Aban Mumwayan, Nayan Sintimi and Wow Mino. Now NPP for the Penny Americano, one more and a Omunti and an Ayabe baby I had the Yadri. It's the same way that they don't even have a moral right. So what your Mano Crabbe day ever to Naminim say. That's one of the Ajidu baby near to me, a canoa, a bedroom revia. The day revision, I'm another former and I say a day, the year free home. Just like Ghana for Monye Mwa. But NPP, Abresona or Monye to be a Vankutia energy sector levy. Near 1 liter of petrol 17 Ghana cities. Diesel 2022 near ton of 23 Ghana per liter. But not even with the tax in the crown near ton of 12 cities are. That is a Papa John Mahama near 2%. One my idea. Now NPP Sebi and now Oman Boya a diabetes baby a druya. A second a 2-way day ever. But meaning say a bit your way mono, you bet you Saka way in every hole. Now, bois, I'm a Ghana for so I for to my pefra. Now, you I tire papa, not light, you know, one man so. Now, 1 year a DB a year, Jumomania Bia, 1 year DB Toma Billy, 1 year a DB a Jojo Muhu, or Bia a day, and the Bia not. Whilst I buy a day a 2-way as a top gap measure, no. I think, say, in the energy sector, no, there are a lot of inefficiencies that are buying ever. Where your generational losses, any transmission losses, and now what they now see and so you know, generational losses, any transmission losses require about 30%. Then from a January, she go from Cocrano, about 20-30%. And illegal connections, no me are there. You see, inefficiencies are the way you see the Coca company be a kind of hotel, and the Okoto energy. You could see almost automatic over there and Sanako. Yet, I buy home. Nina, you be here for what your best Cicado one. You never wrap Namadeno, a Kadukunim, send your bay a Ghana for Ebina and Hoto. It just a Ghana for where they go to Jigu form or Munaya Papa John Dramani Mahama. Then people for the mobile cabia, Yesu, Abreno, and Asset to Brenoa. So I see a few of Abo because of more and the day I got to be a woman. And I hear Mahama watching my wife, but I hear about we every one. Almost a general offense no motor to a war at the back. So by year, they say, or through Tayura Mahama, or that kind of home. I'm a dumsor NPP for SF back now over the bookness born when you hear him in a